Today's Daily Dose of Math is about making a net drawing of a three-dimensional object. And the example I'm going to use for this video is a right prism, otherwise known as a rectangular prism, and I'm using this tissue box as my example. Now, I've pushed the tissues back in this part. We're ignoring that little flap. When we look at this shape, we can see the three-dimensional figure that is made of 6 rectangles. It has 2 rectangles, the largest 2, which are this one on the top and this one on the bottom. It has 2 rectangles, the medium-sized 2, which are these long sides. And it has 2 smallest rectangles, which are the ends. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to imagine that we are able to unfold this three-dimensional object so that it's flat and see the shape of all 6 of the rectangles at once and the size of those rectangles. So sometimes this is drawn to scale. What I'm going to do is simply draw it the same size that the object is for this example. Now, to make this a little easier, I prepared by taking this other tissue box and cutting it so that it shows all 6 of the sides. I need to draw this shape. To do that, I have to ignore an inconvenient fact about the way these boxes are manufactured. I'll use this cracker box as an example. The cracker box does have the 2 largest sides, front and back. It has the 2 medium length sides, but it doesn't really have the 2 small sides. It looks like a rectangle when you look at this end, but when you see how it's made, of course, it's made with these flaps. The 4 flaps come together to form that rectangle, but it's done this way, of course, so that you have a surface to apply the glue when you glue it together, and you don't have cracks on the edges where food could fall out or dirt could get in. So for convenience, of course, the net drawing of this would have 4 rectangles and a bunch of flaps. But we're not going to draw it that way. We're going to draw it as if it wasn't done this way. We're going to draw it this way. Now I'm going to draw it the same size that this is, and I'm going to put it here to start with. If I measure, I can see that the longest side in this shape is 8 3/4 inches long. It's about 22 centimeters, and that's what I'm going to draw first. So I'm drawing an 8 3/4 inch line. And then the length of this side is about 4 inches. And I draw that. Now I really want to see this rectangle, so I also draw the other side. I've finished one of the long sides, one of the long biggest rectangles, and now I have to draw the connecting side. This time it's 8.5 inches by 2 3/4 inches. And now I've drawn that. I need another of the biggest sides again. And then finally, I need another one of these medium-sized rectangles in order to finish this part of the drawing. Now I need these 2 side rectangles, and I'm putting them here. So not perfectly drawn, but you try drawing on a whiteboard with a regular ruler. When you're doing it on paper, it's a little easier to do. We can see the net drawing. We can see all 6 rectangles that make up the shape. And we can see that I don't have it like this, with these 2 pieces up here on the upper half. I have it more like this, with these 2 pieces here. But you can draw it either way. So long as the person who's correcting your drawing can imagine cutting this out of a piece of paper and folding it together, and they're able to get the original object, then your drawing is correct. So there can be more than one right way of doing this, and I'll show another one. I'll do it quickly over here on my chalkboard. So you can see that this one's been drawn a little differently. These 2 smallest rectangles are shown connected to the medium-sized rectangle here instead of being shown connected to the largest. And because of that, it meant that instead of being shown in this portrait positioning, they're shown more in a landscape positioning. So both of these would be correct right answers if a student was asked to do a net drawing of this object, of this 3-dimensional object, while retaining all of the measurements of the original object without doing it to scale. This is how we draw a net drawing of a right prism, and it is today's Daily Dose of Math. Please like, subscribe, and share.